Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Human 5.0 Project, where we dive deep into the science of wellness, biohacking, and health. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and today we are unpacking gluten like never before. All right, let's start at the beginning. Gluten has become the boogeyman of the food world. Headlines scream that it's poison, and everyone's switching to rice cakes. Yet we have people who can enjoy croissants in Paris without a hint of discomfort. Same person, same wheat, different processing. So what's really going on? First off, American wheat isn't your Nona's wheat. Here, it's often bleached with chemicals like benzoyl peroxide and chlorine dioxide, ingredients that would make a chemist raise an eyebrow. Then we've got enrichment. Vitamins like niacin, iron, and thiamine are sprayed on after the grain has been stripped of its natural nutrients, giving the loaf a long, mold-free shelf life. Meanwhile, in Europe, flour is often stone ground or fermented slowly, with natural enzymes that break the gluten down before you even swallow it. It's a world of difference. Glyphosate, also known as Roundup, is often sprayed on wheat just before harvest as a desiccant, drying out the grain quickly and boosting yield, but residues linger in the final flour. A 2019 study from the University of Washington found store-bought flour could contain up to 2 milligrams per kilo. This isn't just about gluten. It's about how glyphosate can disrupt gut health, leading to leaky gut and inflammation. That's what causes bloating, brain fog, and cramps. In countries like Italy and France, glyphosate use is either banned or minimal, so gluten remains intact without triggering the gut in the same way. And then we've got additives. In the US, we still use potassium bromate in baking. This is a dough conditioner linked to cancer and banned in many countries. We also have azodicarbonamide. This is the same chemical found in yoga mats. This is also used to give bread that stretchy texture. And these additives can contribute to the discomfort, making gluten seem like the villain when in fact it's just one piece of a bigger puzzle. So while you might feel better cutting out bread in the US, it's not just about gluten. It's about the entire chemical cocktail we have in modern wheat processing. Real talk, if you try an organic, unbleached, glyphosate-free loaf, like einkorn or a slow-fermented sourdough, you'll probably find that your stomach feels much better. In other words, gluten isn't the sole villain. It's how we process and handle wheat that often creates the issues. So the next time you crave bread, try opting for cleaner, more traditional methods. It might just make all the difference. Also, a note on testing. There are indeed tests for gluten sensitivity, but they come with certain limitations. For example, celiac disease is diagnosed through blood tests that measure specific antibodies, like tissue transglutaminase, or TTG, and endomysial antibodies, often combined with a biopsy of the small intestine. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS, is more challenging to diagnose since there are no specific biomarkers for it. It's usually a diagnosis of exclusion, meaning other conditions are ruled out first. However, there are criticisms of these tests. Some tests can produce false positives or false negatives, and the symptoms attributed to gluten might actually be due to other factors, like FODMAPs or other components in wheat. Because of this, clinicians often have to carefully consider the full clinical picture and not rely solely on test results. So while tests can be helpful, they're not always definitive, and sometimes they can lead to unnecessary dietary restrictions if not interpreted carefully. It's always best to work closely with a healthcare provider for a comprehensive approach. And of course, do your homework and ask the pertinent questions while you're there. And why would somebody with NCGS be able to tolerate gluten in Europe? Well, there are several factors that could explain why someone with NCGS might tolerate bread in Europe better than in the US. And one major factor is the difference in wheat processing as mentioned before. In Europe, bread is often made from traditional methods like long fermentation and stone ground flours, which can break down gluten proteins and make them easier to digest. Additionally, European wheat varieties may have different protein compositions compared to those commonly grown in the US. Another factor is the use of fewer chemical additives and lower levels of glyphosate in wheat production in Europe. Because of this, the overall chemical load in European bread is generally lower, potentially reducing gut irritation. Also, some people's gut microbiome may adapt differently depending on diet and environment, and this can influence how gluten is digested and tolerated. In essence, it's a combination of factors from wheat genetics and processing methods to agricultural practices that can make a big difference in how someone with NCGS experiences bread in different parts of the world. In the end, the gluten debate is more nuanced than it seems. It's not about vilifying gluten, but understanding the bigger picture of food production and processing. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, knowledge is power. Be curious, be trusting but verify, and be open-minded. Until next time, keep hacking your health, and we will see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Human Upgrade Project. If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10x.